Welcome to Drive Time with Shasta, where golf meets grit. Stories unfold, and every mile driven brings us closer to the soul of the game. I'm your host, Shasta Averyhardt. Let's tee it up. Hey y'all, welcome back to Drive Time. I'm your host, Shasta, and today kicks off our Golf Series 101, where we're going to go over the basics of golf so people can feel comfortable getting to the game, knowing what to do, where to play, what to wear, what is golf, what are some of the equipment, like everything. So let's get into it. What is golf? The objective of golf is to get the ball in as less strokes as possible. Okay, so you think if you're watching golf and you see the leaderboard and you see minus 10, minus 9, minus 8, that's good. That's what you want. You want to be below, okay, not above. When you see a plus 10, plus 12, plus 15, plus 20, that's when you know you're really not playing well. Golf is typically a 9-hole or 18-hole course. On this golf course I'm at right now is a 9-hole course. So we're going to go over the scorecard really quickly, keep it very brief. And here it is, 9 holes. Here's the column here with the holes 1 through 9. Then we have the tee markers, distances. Okay, this is all in yardage. Okay, these are based off of your skill set, your abilities. Okay, so it can range from beginner, which can be playing at level 1, and you advance as you progress and get better at the game. Over in this column here is par. On this hole, par is 30, on this course, it's par 36. This is for 9 holes. For 18 holes, it's going to be a par of 72. We're going to double it. There are some courses that have a par 35, a par 30, especially 9-hole courses, especially the shorter range. That can vary, but on a standard 18-hole course, there is par anywhere from par 73, 72, 71, and even 70, especially for some of the US Open championships, if you do watch golf. Standard though, par 72, par 36 for 9 holes. All right, now in this column, all the way to the edge is an acronym, and it's HCP, that's handicap. Now, a lot of you are probably going to eventually get a handicap. You start the game. What a handicap is basically, it's the equivalent to how many strokes am I going to typically shoot over par or even under par. Okay, if you're a beginner, you're going to be shooting over par. That's just what it is. I had my handicap taken when I was young to figure out, obviously, how well I'm playing, to factor in which tournaments to play in at my scoring abilities. And so what it is we're going to do 18 holes, par 72. Let's say that you play 10 rounds of golf and you're averaging 80. Okay, so maybe you're shooting 85, maybe you're shooting 78, maybe you're shooting 90, but then you shoot like a 75, whatever the case may be. It all averages out to, let's say, 80. Your handicap's going to be a plus 8, and that is because 72 plus 8 equals 80. That's typically how you figure out your handicap. Then it takes probably around like 5 to 10 scores to average out your handicap, and you just keep putting in every summer that you're playing to see how well you're improving, and your handicap should be lowering. Especially I was playing junior golf, amateur golf, looking, obviously go play in college and eventually play professionally. So my goal was to constantly get my handicap to scratch. Scratch is typically you're shooting par. Okay, maybe 1 over, maybe 1 under, but you're scratch. You're averaging around that threshold. Then you can now have a plus. So a plus handicap would be you're shooting under par. So I give myself about a plus 2. I don't take my handicap anymore. I don't keep track of it because once you start playing professionally, it doesn't really matter. It's just about your scoring average. If I was to say, here's my handicap, it's a plus 2, which means I'm averaging roughly around 2 under par. So that's kind of a give or take in layman's terms of how a handicap is factored in. Just need a preface here. I'm right next to a junior camp. The golf course is packed. I'm in the back of the range. There's a junior camp happening, so you're probably going to hear some kids yelling. Now we're going to go over par. So par is, like I said, the expected amount of strokes to finish the hole. So typically what happens is with a par 4, averages somewhere around 250 to maybe even 450 yards, okay? And what's expected is a tee shot, okay? Then you're left with an approach shot into the green, and you're expected to only have 2 strokes to be able to get the ball in the hole for you to complete your par. Par 3, you only have 1 shot to hit the green, and typically yardage for par 3 is around 50 yards to sometimes even 230 yards, and could be a little longer now, but that's at a professional level. You have 1 shot to hit to the green, and again, you're always left with 2 strokes to be able to get the ball in the hole on the green, so 2 putts, okay? Or you could either miss the green, chip up, and 1 putt, okay? Just either way, that's what's allowed. All right, par 5. Again, expected amount of strokes, 3 shots and 2 strokes to be able to finish the hole in par. Tee shot, then there's an approach shot, layup shot. Okay, so when I say approach shot, that means you can probably get there in 2. Okay, but a lot of times the distances are anywhere from 450 yards to 600 yards, and that's at professional level. I'm just giving you a range here. Typically, if you're going to be playing like a 500 to 550 yard par 5, you're going to lay up, and a layup shot is typically done with like a wood or even a long iron. And then you have your approach shot, which could be a wedge or a short iron into the green. And again, you're going to be left with 2 strokes to be able to get the ball in a hole at par. Birdie. Birdie is a terminology for when you get the ball in the hole with 1 less stroke relative to what the par is designated for the hole. So, for example, par 3, you score 2, you have a birdie. Par 4, you score 3, you have a birdie. Par 5, you score 4, you have a birdie. -1. Eagle. Typically these happen on par 5s. So an eagle is -2. So it took you 3 shots to get the ball in the hole, and that happens quite often, maybe not as a beginner. And if you do happen to have that happen as a beginner, a lot of times it's luck, but it's always a fun, exciting thing. So an albatross is a 2, essentially, and typically those are on par 5s. I've actually only had 1 albatross in my life. Those are really hard to come by, but it does happen. Now, a hole-in-one. A hole-in-one typically is always done on a par 3, so that means that you hit your shot and it goes in the hole. This can happen also on a par 4, but it would have to be a drivable par 4, which means it's reachable in just 1 shot. And the luck on that is crazy, because for your tee shot to be able to go into the hole on a par 4, pretty wild. It hasn't happened to me, but it's happened to a lot of professionals. I'm just kind of waiting on my time. Now we're getting into the ugly side of the game, scoring side. Bogey, double bogey, triple bogey, quadruple bogey, snowman, whatever you want to call it. Bogey, we'll start there first. Bogey is +1. Par 3, you get a 4. Par 4, you get a 5. Par 5, you get a 6. Double bogey, I'm sure you can guess it, double is +2 over par. So par 3, you get a 5, +4, you get a 6, and par 5, you get a 7. Triple bogey, +3, I'm sure you can guess, par 3, +3, 6, so on and so forth. Quadruple bogey, I hate to talk about it, but some of you guys are going to get these scores if you're starting out golf, and it's okay. It's just obviously room for improvement. +4, so again, par 3, you get a 7. Par 4, you get an 8. Par 5, you get a 9. And anytime you do get an 8 on your scorecard, a lot of times people call it a snowman. And a lot of times you don't want a snowman on your scorecard. I've had snowmans on my scorecard. It's okay. You'll have them eventually. If you're not getting them now, it's okay. Again, give yourself grace. Now we're going to go over where you can play. Public golf courses versus country clubs. Public golf courses, especially for beginners, are on a pay-as-you-go basis. They can be anywhere from 9 to 18 holes. Once again, it's more affordable. It's not as costly, but then the conditions also match the affordability with the course. So as you get into the game and you start playing a variety of different golf courses, you'll see some of the public golf courses are like, oh, they're kind of run down. Still fun, but there's a little run down just because they're cheaper, more affordable for public play, and there's more welcoming environment for, everyone to come participate, versus there are some really top tier public golf courses and they can be very expensive, but again, you pay as you go. Those are greens fees included, and then including cart fees as well. Or you can walk. Sometimes it's an option. You can also walk. All right, country clubs. Country clubs are based off of an initiation fee and also monthly membership dues. That pays for the upkeep of the golf course, sometimes owned by someone or the membership owns the golf course. Either way, you're gonna be paying dues. You also have amenities like dining, swimming pool, tennis courts, all types of stuff, right? So that's what you kind of get what you're paying for. But again, it's all about budget, affordability, where you're at in your playing journey, and just really what makes sense for you. Both can be really great. It's just really about, again, like your budget, your access, and what experience you're looking for. What to wear on the golf course. Typically, you want to just look tidy, neat, and somewhat athletic. And that would shy you away from denim, tank tops, and athletic shorts. Okay, so that's the only thing. You don't want to wear athletic shorts on the golf course. Public golf courses are a little bit more lenient, kind of relax a little bit. You don't have to be super proper. You don't necessarily have to have a collared shirt, even though it's more ideal. Versus country clubs, a little bit more strict dress code. They want you in a golf shirt, golf pants, golf shorts, and also golf skirt for ladies, pick or choose. I am currently at a public golf course, and so I have a golf outfit on. I mean, I'm sponsored by Puma Golf, so I'm going to be wearing golf clothing. But also if I, sometimes want to come out with a hoodie and wearing some shorts, it's not frowned upon at a public golf course. Now I'm going to a country club. This is another thing. When you beginning the game, figure out which kind of golf course you're going to. If you're going to a private club, you do need to make sure that you have on golf attire. I always recommend golf shoes. If you're just starting out and you really don't feel like getting golf shoes, that's fine. You can get golf sneakers. There are spikeless golf shoes. We've kind of doing away with spikes on golf shoes, even though there's some that still have them, especially like it's for traction. You'll notice in wet conditions, like a lot of players are going to have spikes at the bottom of their shoes. Now we're going to get into what each part of the club is. This is a club head. Okay, this is what you hit the ball with. This is the shaft. So this is the long part of the golf club. Okay, and this is the grip. And you can get any types of grips, any types of shafts, any types of club heads. Just depends on what your playing ability is. These are what you call woods. This is a driver, which is the largest head in the bag, followed by a 3-wood and a 5-wood. This is what I have personally in my bag, but it varies from different skill sets. This is what you use when you are on the tee box and you need to get started on the hole, par 4, par 5, sometimes even a par 3, but this is the longest distance in the bag. This is for long shot distances. All right, these are my irons. These are for various distances. If you're weathering the fairway, the rough, you can even use these for bumper run shots, for chip shots on the green, but these are typically shaped like this, okay? And I have a set from 4 all the way to a 9 irons, 4 iron to 9 iron. All right, next are wedges. I have 4 of them. These are for bunker shots, aka sand, chip shots, pitch shots, anything around the green that's affiliated with the short game. And typically a wedge is shaped like this, so it's a little different. Has a bounce here, this is the bounce of the wedge, okay? And we'll get into that later in the series. Now we have a putter, which is typically a flat surface on the face right here, and there's different types of putters. Mine is a mallet putter. You use this on the green, okay? When you putt the ball, I'm sure a lot of you have played putt-putt, so this is basically what this is. This is what we call a golf tee, and this helps you on the first shot of each hole. You have the option to tee your golf ball up on a tee box, so I always recommend take advantage of it. There are also, this is a plastic one, but there are wooden and plastic tees. I recommend carrying a bunch of them in your bag because they do break. Now the golf ball. I play with a Titleist Pro V1. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a premium top tier golf ball in the industry. I've been playing with them since high school. But I would say for a beginner, please don't go out and buy Pro V1s. You're just gonna be wasting a lot of money. You're gonna be losing a lot of golf balls. And You need to prepare for that. So just go get it off-brand, Walmart, doesn't matter, Pinnacle, Top Flight, Max Fly, just something cheap to just get you through your journey and for you to get to the immediate level where you can go buy some of these $50+ amount dozen golf balls where you can actually factor in spin and accuracy. This is what we call a golf glove. This is Cobra, by the way, it's logo. This is what I wear, but needless to say, this helps with the grip of the golf club. And typically, if you are a right-handed player, you would use a glove on your left hand. And if you are a left-handed player, you would use a glove on your right hand. So if you want to start factoring this in when you're starting a game of golf, just make sure that if, again, like I said, right-handed, you need a left-hand glove. If you're left-handed, you need a right-handed glove. Also, when it comes to these golf gloves, it helps to only hit shots with them. When you're putting, you can take it off. You really don't need a grip for your putter unless you just feel compelled that you want to keep it on the entire round. All right, last but not least, this is a golf bag. Now, there are different types of golf bags, but this is where you keep all of your stuff. Your clubs, your tees, your balls, any training aids, lip balm, whatever you want to keep in your bag. This is basically how it looks. This is a tour bag, it's a staff bag. This is what professionals use. They're bigger bags, they keep your rain suit, just everything you can think of. There are carry bags, there are cart bags, and there's staff bags. So you just pick one that's based off of your needs and what you like. All right, y'all, that was part 1 of our Golf 101 series. Next up, we're gonna get into swing basics, how to set up, and how to hit the golf ball without stressing yourself out. Thanks again for hanging with me on Drive Time. And don't forget, golf's supposed to be fun. Go have fun. That's a wrap on this ride, whether it was down the fairway or through the heart of the city. Thanks for spending your drive time with me. And until next weekend, keep your swing smooth, your mind sharp, and your heart open. I'm Shasta Averyhardt, and I'll see you on the next tee.